in so many futures they prevail. But I do see a way. There is a narrow way through.
Dune Part 1. 1 minute and 48 seconds in. We're shown our first shot of Rabban Harkonnen, fists clenched, walking with purpose, a whip hanging from his belt. In a single frame, we glean so much about the character on screen. Someone powerful, a soldier, an oppressor. This is the first of 188 shots of hands that I've found across both Dune films. That's more or less one shot of hands every 90 seconds. Whether it's for telling prophecy, intimate moments, or mid-action shots, hands always feature. In fact, having seen most of his other films, I've noticed that hands seem to feature in pretty much all of Denis Villeneuve's work. Why? We've seen hands before, of course, long before Dune. Art has always returned to them. Take Michelangelo's creation of Adam. It's probably the most famous example of hands in art. In fact, I'd bet most people know the cropped version better than the full fresco. And it makes sense. Hands are a powerful visual shorthand. They can suggest connection, distance, power, or hesitation, often more directly than a face can. Maybe that's why artists return to them so often, because a gesture can carry as much meaning as an expression. And Villeneuve seems to understand this. Caladan, the departure. Right before the Atreides leave, Villeneuve builds a quiet montage of hands. Paul worries the grass between his fingers, a small, nervous loop cut to crates and hands packing a family into boxes. Leto's hand finds Jessica's neck. She leans into it. Reassurance past skin to skin. Then back to Paul. He presses his palm into the water and holds. On first watch, it reads like idle fidgeting. With hindsight, it feels more like a private goodbye to a world that Paul's about to lose. And if Dune makes anything plain here, it's that Caladan is saturated with water and Arrakis isn't. So the touch lingers as though he's memorizing the feeling. And I think it's a pretty clever use of hands. Hands return when the story shifts to inheritance and legacy. We see Duke Leto's palm pressed to the tombstone of one of his ancestors, showing his bond to the history of House Atreides. Soon after, he lifts his Atreides ring to Paul, while they talk about Paul being the future of House Atreides. The gesture makes his point clear. Leadership can't be passed down through a symbol. It has to be lived. Paul has to find his own way to it, as Leto once did. What really gives the scene its weight, though, is Duke Leto's line,
"You'll still be the only thing I ever needed you to be. My son."
And I've got to be honest, when I first watched Dune Part 1, at the start of this scene, I was expecting Duke Leto to be a kind of stereotypical, unlikable dad figure, but this moment revealed Leto as not only a man of conviction, but a father who loves without condition. It really helped solidify the principles of his character. Later in the movie, in Leto's final hours, Dr. Huey takes the ring from Leto's finger, saying he's done what he can for Paul. A small act within the betrayal meant to keep the family's light alive. When Paul finds the ring again, the meaning is shifted. He studies it, then closes his fist around it. And it's clear at this point that his father is gone. The legacy rests with him now. Paul's clenched hand carries grief, but also anger and the determination to act. By part 2, Paul is far into Fremen life. He's been given a new name, a new identity. He takes off the Atreides ring and puts it away. And when I watched this for the first time, I was thinking this is kind of a rejection of the House Atreides. But he isn't necessarily rejecting the house, rather setting it aside, choosing for the time being to be Fremen first.
Father, I found my way.
The ring, like Paul's true intentions, don't stay buried for long. When Gurney Halleck returns and speaks of the family atomics, Paul once again dusts off the ring. We see a flicker of that old legacy, and the first pull of power tied to his name. Like the mask is slipping slightly. Later, during that epic speech that Paul delivers to the Fremen, he slides the ring back on. Gurney looks on with pride as Paul declares himself Duke of Arrakis. The very next shot shows the signet pressing wax, sealing a message of open defiance to the Emperor. And then more excellent shots follow. At the end of Dune Part 2, after winning his duel and seemingly the war to this point, Paul forces the Emperor to kiss the ring, a symbol of the Atreides bloodline now turned into raw power, and completing the narrative arc that the ring was the vehicle for. I love that you can put all of these shots together and they're seemingly not that different from each other, but within the context of the story, they really help to hammer home that narrative journey. Both films are absolutely flooded with these, to borrow a phrase from the film's editor Joe Walker, brain-stemmy images. I did wonder if it's even intentional that the moon of Arrakis itself, the hand of God, looks like it's got a literal handprint in it, but that could just be a happy accident. There's also something clever going on with the way these shots are edited together. Denis Villeneuve is famous for his massive, painterly wide shots, the kind that make you feel tiny in comparison to the world on screen. But Villeneuve and editor Joe Walker often work in contrasts to achieve this. For example, this scene starts out with a wide shot with Paul in the foreground and vast mountainous dunes in the distance. Then cut to a close-up of Paul's hand. Then back to a wide shot with Paul barely a speck on the dune. That juxtaposition helps to shrink the vastness of Arrakis and the Dune universe back down to a human detail, which reminds you that even though this is an epic space drama, it still hinges on intimate human choices. And from an editing point of view, these close-ups are also like punctuation. They help to break up the rhythm of the bigger shots and communicate things without dialogue. A clenched fist, an open palm, a touch on the back of someone's neck. You don't need anyone to explain what those mean, you just feel it. This is what makes Dune feel like both a huge space opera and a personal family drama at the same time. And hands are just a tiny element of what makes Denis Villeneuve's films special. I'm certain people will have picked up on other elements. I've even made an entire video already just focusing on one particular scene from Dune Part 2, so check out that one if you haven't already seen it. I know not everyone pauses a film to count 188 shots of hands, but if you're the kind of person who loves digging into details like this, I've set up a Patreon. It's a way to support the channel and it helps me spend a little bit more time pulling apart films in this way. You'll notice I've got no sponsors or anything like that currently, so I'm making these videos simply because I enjoy it. So if you want to see videos like this more often, please consider supporting, it would really help. You'll find the link in the description. Thank you, and thanks for watching.
Ponder.